What's up, YouTube? It's your boy HD back with another haircut tutorial for y'all. And today we have a buzz cut we're gonna do. My client came in. This is my second time cutting his hair. I believe the first time I cut his hair, I gave him just a taper and we kept the hair long. But this time he came in and he showed me a picture of someone with a buzz cut, mid fade, line up the front. I was like, all right, so that's what we're gonna do. So we got the 8 guard right here. And we're just buzzing it, man. We're just cutting all the hair off. I'm going left, right, up, down, back, forth. Just ensuring that I hit every strand of hair and that there is not one strand that's left longer than the other. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in with the 8. And the 8, I believe, is 1 inch of hair exactly. So, and then we're gonna start the mid-fade process. But shout out to y'all, man. If you're watching this video, I appreciate you. If you could just drop a comment on what type of content you would like to see next, or just give me a like, or you do both. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. Appreciate you guys. It goes a long way for the channel. If you are new to my channel, you will realize that I do pretty much just one side of the head, and then you just copy the steps that I do on one side, just apply it to the other. But this video, I believe I did both sides, if I remember correctly. I did this haircut, man, probably about a month ago. It was in the archives, and I pulled it out like, you know what, I'll edit this one. So I can't really recall, but usually that's what I do. And my steps don't change. The reason they don't change is because I like to be more efficient with my haircuts. So I like to be very quick and to the point, and I know my steps by heart, and I know how to fix anything that happens. So as long as you have your steps down packed, it should be foolproof, man, especially if you do it a certain amount of time. So I just like to make it easier on myself. But this is still me going against the grain with the 8, and we're just hitting every strand of hair. I will just let the video rock out a little bit so you guys can check it out, and then I'll pop back in when the next step comes up. All right, guys, so we are at our second step, and that is to create that first initial guideline. And I don't like to set in my guidelines harsh at all. These clippers are 0 gap, so you notice that I'm not just putting it in harsh. I'm flicking out, flicking out, flicking out. So I'm doing a mid fade. So we started right there, just at the C cup right there. And then I'm dropping it to do a mid drop a little bit, just to fit the shape of his head. So when I'm making the drop, I'm dropping it below the occipital bone in the back of his head. And then I'm just doing that on the other side. Now, the guidelines don't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that, you know, when you look at the front profile, that they're both in the same spot, and in the back that is like somewhat symmetrical. So, Yeah, that's the second step, excuse me. And then here you can see me spinning the chair so you can get a view of the other side. And I will pop right back in after this step. All right, so now we have our gold FX. These are zero gapped. I don't line up with these at all. These are literally just for debulking. I don't like to debulk with my trimmers because they end up getting dull and loud when you put them through a lot of vigorous hair cutting. So I like to just keep them as liners, and I like to just use them for that. So these are strictly just for debulking the excess hair at the bottom of a bald fade, or just facial hair, period. So yeah, here you see me flicking out as soon as I get to that line so I don't create another harsh line. You don't want to go all the way up to the line that we created. You want to go just slightly below it. Next step, we have our 2-guard on here, and I'm just debulking a little bit because his hair is an inch long still on the sides, and it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So I like to use the 2-guard close. I believe, is it open or closed? I can't recall, but either one will work. Just go slightly up and just flare it off the top of his head. You don't want to dig in because you'll create a weird shape. So we're just flaring it off the edge of his head. And that way we can see what we're doing more once we begin to fade the sides, and, it'll just be an easier transition. You're not kind of guessing what you're doing. You can see it now. So immediately after we do that, we grab our foil shaver, and I had someone in the comments ask me which foil shaver this was. This is a Babyliss one. It came with my Gold FX. It was like a whole kit that it came with. It came with the clipper that I'm using, it came with the liner that I just used, and it came with this. And someone gave it to me for my birthday. It was like a whole box set. So it's crazy. I think they sell a lot of box sets at those department stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and stuff like that for decent prices if you can catch them. But I do want to grab a double foil eventually, because a single foil can be a little tedious because it doesn't cover as much ground, but you do get in tight spaces better with the single foil. So I am just using it everywhere I use the Gold FX trimmer, and as soon as I get to the top of the line, I'm kind of flicking out, because you will create a harsh line if you go right to the line. So just flick out once you get to the top of it. Now, as you can see, I pulled out my Gold FX trimmer again, and that was because I saw like that bottom line was a little choppy, and it was because the way I put it in, once I was using it the first time, I kind of went too high up in certain areas and too low in certain areas. So I'm kind of just evening it out, and I'm flicking out. I'm not like just placing it on and going up, down, up, down. I'm flicking out as soon as I get up to that point, and that will create more gradients for you. Once the fade is done, you won't have that harsh line at the bottom. So now this is my favorite clipper to fade with. I just wish I had a little more power. You could use a senior if you want to and just throw the magic clip blade on it to get the same effect with more power, but my senior is at home. That's like my at-home clipper. So this is my shop clipper. So it's wall magic clip, excuse me. And we're just lever opening, lever halfway, lever close until we blur that out. And we're going up about a 1/2 inch all the way around the head, ensuring that we keep that same shape that we initially created, where you drop it in the back. All right, guys, so here we have our one guard closed, and we're just going up about another 1/2 inch, and we're keeping that same drop fade shape, and we're just gonna go all the way around the head. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you pretty much know my steps by now, but I like to do this, and then I bring in the 1/2 guard right under that to clear that out. So the 1/2 guard we're going to use, and then we're going to lever play that. Lever open halfway and close until we blur out under this part that we're doing now. We just don't go above that with a smaller guard. We go right up to it though. And then we do that all the way up until the top. Start after that with the 1/2 guard, and you can guess what comes under that, the 1 guard. 2 guard, what comes under that, the 1.5 guard, and repeat. So here we have the 1/2 guard, as I said before, and lever is open. Right there, blend that a little bit. Lever halfway, come back, lever close, and that line should be blurred out. Sometimes the line isn't blurred out. Right here, you see me lever playing it, up, down, lever play, halfway, midway, 1/4 of the way, 1/3 of the way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes midway, halfway, close doesn't get the job done, so you do have to lever play. But that's where you get good at cutting hair, is this part right here. And that's where your face become buttery and stuff, is the lever play. You have to have that eye to where you can see something that's choppy. It's like, I need to cut more of that. And then you just lever play it until you can get it out. But one thing that, like I said, we're not doing is we're not going above where we created that initial guideline with the 1 guard closed. Here we have our 1.5 guard closed, like I said, and we are just going up about another 1/2 inch, and we're gonna go all the way around the head. We're just flaring it off. We're not digging in, creating a harsh guideline. We're just flaring, and just feathering. So this is gonna create a nice shape, and it's gonna make it easier for you to get the lines in and out of the fade. So after this, we bring in our 1 guard open, halfway closed, and that will blur this part out as well, right up under there. You just don't go above what you did with this 1.5 closed. All right, as you can see, the fade is looking a little buttery, but we have this big solid line right here that we have to get rid of. So right here, we have our 2 guard closed, and you can guess what comes under that is the guard we just used, the 1.5, and you lever play that. And then we'll be able to see what the fade looks like a lot better. Then we just have to work on that ridge right there. So I'll let you guys check the video out. I'll pop back in once we get to that step. All right, so here I have I believe this is a 3 or 4 guard. I cannot remember. I'm sorry, guys. But to be safe, I would start with the 4. And then if it doesn't do anything, do the 3. But his crown area was sticking up so crazy. So I just went with the grain and I just flattened it out a little bit. Now, you can leave the haircut as it is right here. Just leave it how it is. But the picture he showed me, and I asked him if he wanted a front lineup. He said yes. So right now we have our 2 guard and we're going against the grain. And I'm just lowering some of that hair in the front so we can get a nice crispy hairline. So 2 against the grain right there. And then you see the ridge is still kind of like sticking out right there. So I grabbed the 3 guard and I'm going with the grain to flatten that part out. Go against the grain right there to hit it a little bit more. And do the same thing on the other side. 3 with the grain. One thing you do on one side, you want to make sure you do to the other side so it's identical. All right, so now I hit his forehead with the holding spray, and then I just blow dry that a little bit, let that dry up, and then we go in with our wall high vis, and we're going to do vertical bars first for the hairline. And then that will show you where the front hairline is supposed to be. Now his corners are a little bit light, but it's okay. We'll still get a nice hairline out of this. But man, that fade is looking really nice and blurry. Did a really good job on that, man. So yeah, we're going against the grain a little bit more because I see that it was still some hairs that needed to be cut. And here's the front view. So this is the wall high vis. And like I said, the vertical bars first. We put those in, and then the front hairline will expose itself. All right, guys, so this is what it's looking like. This is crazy. Like, look how clean that haircut is, man. And I didn't even hit him with the razor because I felt like I didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have to do that, man. Like, I don't got to do all of that to him now. Come on now. This is too clean already. Like, my boy look like Dante DiVincenzo now. Like, we got him together, man. This is clean. So, yeah, I'm just tapping the hairline more and more and more. And the more you tap it, the more crispy it'll be. But you want to just make sure that your trimmers are set properly so you can hit the hairline a bunch of times, because if your trimmers are way too sharp, you got to kind of do it in 1 or 2 passes. And then here's the back, nice and buttery, clean fade, clean blend. I see a few spots, so I'm just going in with my 1 guard again, and I'm just softening up a little bit of the dark spots, the dark areas. I like to do that too, like once the hairline is intact, because you kind of see more parts of the fade once the hairline is done. It's kind of crazy that it's like that, but here's the 1.5, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little dark up there in that area, so I'm just softening that part up as well. This is like one of my favorite haircuts to do are buzz cuts. One, because I usually do them pretty fast, but like I said, his hair is a little more difficult to fade, so it took me a little bit longer. But also it just looks super clean to me, man. I just like this style. Like last summer, I feel like a lot of people were getting this haircut. It kind of slowed down during the winter time, but I feel like it'll make a comeback this summer. Here we are, and we have our styling powder, and I'm just lifting the hairs up so the styling powder can get to the scalp. And then we just, just play with the hair, and then it'll give it that textured look. So here I am just playing with it, making sure that powder is to the scalp. And then you see it gives it the textured look right there. So there's a lot of different ways you can style it. You can use powder, you can use a clay, you can use a pomade. When your hair is at an inch, you can do a lot of different things with it. Like anything lower than that, though, is where it gets harder to style it. But here it is, man. I picked the camera up so you guys can get a better look at it. Man, it's your boy HD, man. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.